Not too long ago, it seemed that very large aircraft would become the foundation of international air travel. The Airbus A380 was created around exactly that idea. It could carry hundreds of passengers on a single flight and connect the world's biggest airports. But over time, the situation began to change. Airlines gradually started moving away from the aircraft, and the reason was not technical problems or design flaws. What changed was the very logic of how aviation operated. To understand why the A380 began disappearing from airline fleets, you have to look at how aviation was structured at the time it was created. In the 1990s and early 2000s, the main model of air transport was the hub system. Large airlines concentrated passengers in key airports and then distributed them across the world from there. This made it possible to efficiently fill large aircraft because traffic from dozens of different routes was converging in one place. The A380 was developed precisely around that logic. Its purpose was to carry the maximum possible number of passengers between the largest hub airports. This approach worked as long as there was a steady flow of people and strong demand on popular routes. If the aircraft was filled, it became economically justified despite its high operating costs. But this model had one important feature. It required a very precise balance between demand and aircraft capacity. In that sense, the A380 was not flexible. You could not really partially use it. If there were not enough passengers on a flight, the costs remained almost the same as they were with a full load. That created risk for airlines, especially on routes with fluctuating demand. At the same time, the routes themselves began to change. As technology advanced, airlines gained the ability to open direct flights between cities that had previously been connected only through hubs. This meant that some passengers no longer passed through the same large hub airports the A380 had been designed for. As a result, traffic began to spread differently. Instead of being concentrated in one airport, passengers were distributed across a larger number of routes. This gradually reduced the need for aircraft with extremely high capacity. Another factor was infrastructure. Not every airport was prepared to handle such an aircraft. The A380 required special gates, reinforced runways, and additional resources for servicing. That limited the number of routes on which it could be used without extra expense. In the end, a situation emerged in which the A380 remained effective only in a limited number of scenarios. It worked well on the busiest routes between major hubs, but outside of them it became less economical. And that is exactly what gradually began to shape airline decisions. At the moment when the route structure began to change, another factor appeared on the market that influenced airline decisions. It was a new generation of wide-body aircraft. Models like the Boeing 787 and the Airbus A350 were built from the start with a different philosophy. They were not trying to carry the maximum number of passengers on a single flight. Their goal was different: to reduce the cost of each flight and make it possible to operate on a wider range of routes. The main difference was fuel burn and overall efficiency. Thanks to new engines, materials, and aerodynamics, these aircraft consume less fuel per passenger. But even more importantly, they do not need to fill 500 seats in order to remain profitable. They can fly with lower loads and still maintain economic efficiency. That significantly changes the possibilities for airlines. Instead of concentrating passengers into large hubs, they can open direct flights between cities where demand is not massive, but stable. For example, routes between medium-sized cities that previously could not support very large aircraft become accessible for models like these. As a result, a different network logic begins to emerge. Airlines gain more options. They can change flight frequency, adapt to seasonal demand, and distribute passengers across different routes instead of gathering them all in one place. This reduces risk and allows airlines to match demand more precisely. For the A380, this creates direct competition, but not in the classic sense. It is not being replaced by one specific aircraft. It is being replaced by the model itself, where instead of one large flight, several smaller ones are used. And if the key goal in the past was to fill the maximum number of seats on a single flight, now it is more important to maintain steady load factors on each individual route. Another important point is related to flight frequency. Passengers often choose not only the destination, but also a convenient departure time. If the choice is between one large flight and several smaller ones throughout the day, the advantage often goes to the second option. Smaller aircraft allow airlines to plan schedules more flexibly and respond to demand more accurately. As a result, a situation emerges in which very large aircraft lose their universality. They remain effective only under conditions of very high and stable demand, but there are not that many such routes. And that is exactly why the structure of airline fleets is gradually changing. Airlines are beginning to focus not on the maximum size of the aircraft, but on the ability to adapt to different scenarios. In addition to changes in route structure and the arrival of new aircraft, the economics of operation also played a major role. The Airbus A380 has 4 engines, a very large airframe, and a complex design. This means higher costs for fuel, maintenance, and airport handling. Even if the difference in efficiency does not seem critical on a single flight, across an entire network, it becomes very noticeable. For airlines, it is important not only to fill an aircraft, but also to reduce risk. In the case of the A380, any drop in demand immediately affects profitability. Smaller aircraft make it possible to spread that risk because they are easier to adapt to different conditions. If demand falls, airlines can reduce seat capacity or adjust flight frequency without losing efficiency. Another factor is fleet flexibility. Medium-sized aircraft can be used on a wider range of routes. They are not tied to a limited number of major airports and do not require special infrastructure. This makes it possible to respond more quickly to market changes and open new routes without major additional costs. At the same time, the A380 requires very specific conditions. It is difficult to redeploy it to another route without losing efficiency. That limits the ways it can be used and makes it less convenient in a dynamic airline network. As a result, airlines began rethinking the structure of their fleets. Instead of concentrating on one very large aircraft type, they gradually moved toward more versatile solutions. This allows them to control costs more effectively, react faster to changes in demand, and reduce dependence on individual routes. In the end, the situation looks fairly simple when viewed from the perspective of the entire system. The Airbus A380 did not become a worse aircraft and did not lose its technical capabilities. It is still fully capable of carrying a large number of passengers on long-haul routes, but the conditions in which it was most effective gradually stopped being the foundation of modern aviation. Today, air transport is organized differently. Instead of concentrating passengers in large hubs, the number of direct flights between cities continues to grow. Instead of one large flow, many smaller ones are formed. In such a model, the priority is not to maximize the number of seats on one aircraft, but to match demand more precisely on each individual route. That is why airlines are not abandoning very large aircraft entirely, but they are using them far more selectively. They remain on the busiest routes, where demand is consistently high. In other cases, the advantage shifts to more flexible solutions. As a result, the A380 is gradually losing its role not because of competition from one specific aircraft, but because of a change in the entire structure of air transport. And that explains why, even as air travel grows overall, the number of these aircraft in airline fleets is not increasing, but instead declining.